Hear me out. Should we sign Wissa? I know we're not going to do it, people, because we've got Marino, Havertz in the squad, and maybe some internal false nine positions. But how good would it be to have Gyökeres and having Wissa in the squad? Like, because I'm at the stage now, when it's all said and done, if we're really trying to go after this Premier League and we're actually just trying to win, we know we love the youth thing and whatnot, but we're just trying to win. When it's all said and done and you cut the emotions, yeah, you need players that are inevitable, and he's getting double figures in the league. So you got him, Gyökeres bagging, him bagging, obviously the usual suspects bagging. For the last 3 years, bordering on 4 now, we know we're going to score 90 to 100 goals. But the maddest thing is, when you break it down, you don't know who. It's only been Saka in the last 3 years entering the fourth that's done it consistently. We know a couple man will chip in via set pieces. There'll be some purple patches. And that's not a criticism. Just if you want to go from a team that sniffs at it, we're in and around to getting over the line. Like, how many inevitable players are there in the Premier League at the moment? I'd say when you cut, people can never tell me Saka's not one. Salah is definitely one. Haaland is definitely one. It's late, so it's a bit difficult thinking, but there must be others, people. On the topic of Brentford, Vissa's one thing, ironically. This article, I don't know if it's true, but makes for a good bit of the stream, innit? Smash the like button. Brentford make contact with Arsenal attacker Trossard. And to be fair, we did hear 2 unnamed Premier League clubs were interested. Maybe one's been revealed. Maybe this is completely separate. Pardon me, apologies. Brentford have made a bold move by approaching Leandro Trossard's reps over a potential summer switch from Arsenal. Football Transfers can reveal. The 30-year-old Belgium international, who has been a valuable squad player for Arsenal under Arteta, is now being seriously considered by Brentford as the ideal replacement for Wissa. So immediately, cold water's been poured on it for me, creative journalism, who is pushing to leave the club in search of Champions League football with Newcastle United. Fair enough, Wissa. Sources close to the situation have told us Brentford are willing to offer Trossard a 3-year deal, a proposal that could appeal to the forward given his age and current contract expires in 2026. Now, to be fair, we also do hear that Arsenal have an option of an additional year, but Brentford means you stay in London. It is an attractive club. Respectfully to key fans, use their new manager. It's not exactly playing under Thomas Frank, is it? And it remains to be seen what's going to go on there. Kind of going back to what I said earlier, another team we're going to have to see what's going on. But end of the day, is 30. If you can get a decent wage, a Premier League wage, give or take, I use that term loosely, and a 3-year deal, and a more important stature in the club, you might ask yourself. He's been linked with Palace as well. Now, obviously, Arsenal are in the Champions League and all that kind of stuff. But for Trossard, there's a decision to make. I don't know if both of you are fit and firing for 38 games if you or Martinelli starting. I'd bet money on Martinelli. Don't know what's going on with Madueke. Don't even know if there was a consistent and fit Jesus. Maybe he'd be an option off the left. So I get it. I do get it. Where I pour cold water on it, beyond everything I've said already, is he's been linked with so many clubs. A couple of clubs in Italy, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, Saudi, Crystal Palace. Quite a few teams, people. Apparently, he's understood to be happy at Arsenal. And you know what? The main thing with you, Trossard, is you stay fit, because you picked up a knock in our last game. We won't mention that game. He's happy at Arsenal, but previously made it clear to Arteta that he would consider leaving if a deal too good to turn down landed on the table. This could be one of them. I'm sure him and Zinchenko have actually been linked with West Ham, as well as Fabio Vieira, across the last 2 months. Arsenal remain open to keeping Trossard and have been in early discussions over a contract extension. His current deal runs until 2026 with the option for another year, but there's no final agreement yet. This could all be nonsense at the end of the day. And to be fair, I do think Trossard gets a bit of disrespect. I do think there's evident issues, but in an ideal world, if we weren't talking about, finances around the wages and all that kind of stuff, if you could get me Eze, a serious left winger, you got your Gyökeres, you got Saka, and Trossard's in the squad, I'm not against that. Not that there's a long list to go through, but if there was, Trossard's been one of the better recruits that Arteta's brought in the attacking half. I just think he needs to be a rotational super sub kind of guy. Same with Martinelli. He just feels like, for obvious reasons, kind of what we discussed, it's easier to move you on than Martinelli. Martinelli's got longer on his deal. Ironically, like Trossard, there's still rumors of giving him a new contract. He's on 190k a week. It's probably easier to just get a move for Trossard. For Arsenal, Leandro Trossard apparently averages 0.61 goal involvements per 90 as a starter and 0.84 as a substitute. Martinelli manages 0.49 as a starter and 0.56 as a substitute. So make of that what you will, people. Fabrizio Romano said he understands Kiwior's future remains open, with several clubs keen on signing the centre-back. I wonder if Kiwior's agents, if they did want to stay at Arsenal, would angle for an improved terms in his contract. Arteta would prefer to keep Kiwior. Arsenal already rejected a proposal from Portugal in July, up to the player with desire to play more as possible. Can't lie to him, man. Just lie to him for a sec. Sometimes you got to do that as a manager. I know it's wrong, and Kiwior, if I'm you, I might angle to leave. Remember, this is a sweet gig. It's all fun and games talking about Juventus and AC and Inter. If you get them moves, Bob's your uncle. But yeah, man, stay humble, my guy. But if I'm Arteta, just lie to him, man. You're gonna play, man. Trust me, you're gonna play respectfully to Kiwior. Like, it's very different if you was lying to Saliba or Saka. Just, yeah, you're gonna play, man. Trust me. You're gonna play. Might even be cheeky. You're not gonna play against United if Gabriel Magalhaes is fit. Can start against Leeds, respectfully to them. Can start against Leeds. Once the window's shut, the window's shut. Then lie to him again in January. And then you go next summer if you still want to do that. Come on, man. Sometimes you've got to do this stuff. Arsenal apparently have told suitors, including El Nasser, that Martinelli is not for sale. That's what Ben Jacobs said. We covered this earlier today, but just to rejig the memory, or yesterday, Arsenal are lining up an opening bid worth over 50 million for Eze of Crystal Palace. Now his release clause is 68 million. So there's 18 million that needs to be accounted for. And better yet, it doesn't have a release clause. It got cancelled. So we'll have to see what goes on there. Ben Jacobs said, my expectation is that Arsenal will sign just a 10, with Eze being the top target and less likely to sign a specialist left winger. It feels the last attacking-minded reinforcement for Arsenal will be a 10. Now, obviously, Eze can play in a bunch of positions and will, but if they see him as a 10 and you're buying him for 68 million, is he going to start ahead of Odegaard? Is Odegaard going to move roles? So what would that mean for Rice or Zubimendi? And then we also heard as well that Nwaneri signed a new deal makes us cool with this, to which obviously Eze can play off the left. It's not his strongest position. We've never seen Nwaneri do it out there. But surely, if, for argument's sake, if you see Eze as a 10 but could play out there, surely Nwaneri could. Who knows, man? Could you rule out Odegaard moving out there, or just having some dodgy thing in some games? Maybe Eze, Odegaard, Nwaneri, they all on the pitch together, take it in turns. 1 minute, one's out wide. I don't know. I've still got Wenger's Arsenal in my mind, people. We're not going to see that. Apparently, and I did cover this yesterday as well, people, Andrea Berra has been left to lead negotiations in many incidences this summer. You reckon? Sporting director, mate. And regularly reports back to Arsenal's key decision makers. You reckon this is like... Just forget it. Let me just carry on. Sources said Berta's clear and regular communication has been another welcome characteristic, which is great stuff to hear. Again, I don't know if it's true because I think it might be like false news online and whatnot. But if it is, apparently Gyökeres, like there was concerns about his weight when he was at Sporting, or fans were doing what kind of the nonsense they're doing at the moment with Arsenal. Worked out positive. See no reason why lightning can't strike twice. Of course, I've had my ups and downs, but above all, the last month has been quite difficult. There's been a lot of talk on social media about what happened or what didn't happen, but people don't really know the full story. It was difficult, but also know it made me stronger. Don't worry, man. You're going to do what needs to be done. They're writing you off after 15 minutes. Crazy settings. And I don't want to hear any fan base that does not support Arsenal ever try and play down any agendas. I don't want to hear it's only the League Cup, just the FA Cup. We're doing this pre-season, because right is right and wrong is wrong. I've never seen a pre-season. Yeah, we could have done better. You know, I'm not saying it's just the fact that we lost in pre-season. We're not happy with what we saw technically and tactically and all those things in relation to how we're going to move in the season. But when it's all said and done, pre-season game, North London Derby in Hong Kong has the footballing world in a frenzy. Okay, do what you're doing. Just make sure when we apply the same energy, it's cool. Sources said Max Dowman surprised senior figures at Arsenal with his ability to take preseason games in his stride. Apparently, he turns 17 next year, into which it better be a formality. He gets a new contract. Sources said the club are also conscious that he is, to put it simply, a growing boy, and Mikel Arteta is therefore inherently prone to protecting him. Sources also told ESPN that the club is impressed with the support network Dowman has around him, and there are plans to offer him a professional contract around the turn of the year, perhaps in January. There's a recognition that poor player availability cost Arsenal dearly last season. A thorough review has been included training plans and particularly workloads after players returned from international duty. Sources said, for example, that the club identified Gabriel's hamstring injury against Fulham in April came after he was away on international duty and sprinting at at a speed Arsenal's internal data says he reached for the first time in 2 months. Crazy. I was at that game. Crazy. Maybe I was bad luck. Sources said there's still an acknowledgement that some of that is purely down to luck, no matter how meticulous the planning. God forbid, but if this just imagine we sold Kiwior and this happened again, people would say it's bad luck. When it's all said and done, and I know Mascara's there, this is why for me, Kiwior, you need to stay. And this is, if you're not gonna stay, you're not going anytime soon. At least, last week of the window, if they really want you, get it done. Sources said the club's summer transfer policy has been significantly influenced by finding players with a good track record in availability. That'd be good. Mikel Arteta apparently recognizes that the acquisition of Victor Gyökeres will necessitate a shift in style. Should have had that anyways, but great stuff. Arsenal need to be more direct, more vertical, and since the resumption of training in July, Arteta has been implementing this change. I hear it, and I'm not expecting to see it overnight. But you could have, in the 3 games in Hong Kong and Singapore, we could have saw something. Sources said Arsenal was conscious about the psychological demands of leading the line and the scrutiny on the position. Gyökeres' goal record for Sporting, plus a strong conviction in his strengths of character, convinced them he was the man for the job. What else have we got? Well, long story short, people, apparently they're saying he's fitter than led to believe. Rodrigo's potential switch to Arsenal is now unlikely due to high wage demands. The Brazilian didn't want to leave Real Madrid, but his situation has changed in recent weeks. His priorities are moved to the Premier League. My theory is Liverpool don't get Isaac, they get Rodrigo. I'm starting to believe they might even get both. You're the sort of guy to rock up at City or Chelsea. Keeping up the theme with Brazilians, apparently Arsenal are still adamant, despite Gabriel Jesus' injury, that they want to get rid and are planning on letting him go in the final month of the transfer window. Apparently Jesus will never play for Arsenal again after cutthroat decision. I don't know if this youth is credible. 96 appearances, 26 goals, 17 assists. Do we really have to do this? Do we really have to let him go? It's way too late to be reading about Spurs defeats. Newcastle's 80 million bid for Sesko has fallen short of Leipzig's valuation. Should we see if there's been any updates since we've been live about that? Because 1 minute United, then it's Newcastle. So yeah, boy, nothing's been plain sailing for Newcastle.